What's your prediction for downtown? Like, what is going to happen? Can this rally? Can they rally, or like, is it gonna implode?
My prediction is that it gets worse before it gets better. That you are going to see more businesses close. You're going to see more homeless, and eventually it will get so bad where people wake up and go, whoever has allowed this to happen, you're out, and you will then see the pendulum swing back, right? And what I worry is it's the same thing we're seeing on a national level right now, right? Where we let that pendulum swing so much to the left where it's like, wait, why is the head of health and, human services a fat trans man with fat kids that knows nothing about health, right? Like Rachel Levine is who I'm talking about.
Right.
But you just had such craziness that now the pendulum, because of how crazy it was and the pronoun game and mandates and all these things, the pendulum's swinging back too quick, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why you see this outrage and people burning Teslas. And if you voted for Trump, you're not my family anymore.
Right.
Because people can't deal with those swings, that change.
Yeah.
And it's too emotional. So naturally the pendulum's supposed to go slow, right? Where it's a gradual change. But right now, because we're so extreme, it's bouncing. And that's not good. That causes instability, and that causes, internal conflict amongst groups. And that's what I'm worried about is, we've always had these things where we would argue about and bitch at each other about and even fight about, but we'd always be able to at least have the conversations. Now those conversations are stopping where it's like, don't talk to me. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
When
so polarizing.
Exactly. When the stopping talks, then the violence starts. And that's what I worry about. If we stop talking, if we stop being able to have conversations about it, the violence comes next.
And then what, like Sacramento, I heard is like a disaster zone. Was it Sacramento?
It's sad because Sacramento is talk what you want, talk the shit you want about Sac, but it's a really pretty town. They have a lot of history. There's a lot of historical buildings. Like you walk around the town and it's a pretty area. It's deserted. Go up there. It's crazy. I went up there on like a Wednesday, walking around by the Capitol. There's no one on the streets, homeless people. That's it. No hustle and bustle, no business. It's bizarre. It's just a dead city.
And is the media talking about any of this at all?
No,
not at all.
No. And I don't know. Well, I do know, but why are you going to shine a light on shit? You know what I mean?
So folks, if you want to know what's going on in the country, with cities, the economy, just tune into Real Deal Talk and listen to Dan Fulkerson.
Yeah, listen to Dan rant about how
Dan rant
doing his shit. But no, go to other places. Like we just had good friends, you and I, that they went to Boise, Idaho, and I'm from Boise, right outside of Boise. Actually, I'm from right where they moved, and they went once. You guys went for the opening of Awaken, right?
Yep.
And they went and that was more like a support trip. You guys were going to support that, whatever. And then they went back because friends of your guys' moved there, right? And if I'm incorrect on the story, correct me.
Yeah.
And they went one time back, and I talked to Kat and Jason, and I'm like, what? And Kat's like, we're moving.
Yeah.
We're moving. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we're out. Like, we're done. And they've now moved to Idaho, and they love it.
Love it.
And so many more people have made that same move to Idaho, to Boise, and go there, and you'll see why.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. The people are nice. There's no homeless people. You could eat off the streets. There's no trash everywhere.
It's gorgeous.
It's maintained. It's a community. Like, people care about people. People are helping other people. The number one comment that I get from people is, why is everyone so nice?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
The rest of the world. Like, people are nice. People care. There's more to life than just the bullshit, right? And I think you're going to slowly see that transition, because California is not what it was when I fell in love with this place.
And what's the craziest part to me is that, like, all this stuff that you just mentioned in Sacramento is deserted, downtown's a disaster. These are facts.
Yeah.
This isn't an opinion.
Yeah.
And the media is not showing it at all.
No.
They're snowing us, keeping us in the dark, blinded, and just showing us like, oh, things are great and things are this. Yeah. So where does this lead us to, bro? Like, let's talk about our economy here.
Yeah.
Where's our economy going? What is, like, where are we at here? Like, I mean, and I can tell you from being in a retail business, Real Deal Sleep, for the last 20 years,
Yep.
the hardest 18 to 24 months that I've personally gone through in business is the last 18 to 24 months in a retail business.
For sure.
So, folks, listen to me, and I'm not a political guy at all, but whatever just happened put us in a position where I had the hardest financial struggle of my life the last 24 months with our retail mattress store. Because when we're in retail, we feel it immediately when people can't afford stuff or are not buying anything.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. That said, what is happening? Where are we going? Give me predictions.
We are seeing a pinch, and the pinch is getting harder and harder, and it's tightening up every single year. And I know this because I have clients that own businesses, and they're all a lot tighter than they've ever been, right? And so let's look at it on a micro level. On a micro level, your margins have shrunk, your costs have gone up a lot, right? Inflation has created a situation where costs and inputs into businesses are significantly higher. You can only raise prices so much, or then you lose your customer base.
Yep.
So unfortunately, a lot of that deficit comes out of your margin. So people and businesses just are not making the type of money that they once made, and everything in their life has gone up and become more expensive, rent, goods, whatever you want to say. And so you just are playing with less money. And unfortunately, that is a pinch that you're going to continue to see. And that's on a micro level, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, it doesn't really matter. That is where we're at right now, where costs of goods have gone up, wages have not gone up accordingly. And if you're a business owner, all of your inputs have gone up and you can't raise your prices enough to be able to keep up with it. So it is tight right now. On a macro level, we are living through a very interesting and unstable time. And this is where I would have done things a little different than Trump has, because he's come out so strong with tariffs, which I understand the principle. I understand that it's not a fair, equitable trade situation right now. I understand that these countries are taking advantage of us. I get all of those things.
Right.
I get that he wants to bring back domestic production, but these tariffs have caused extreme instability, and markets hate instability. And so you're going to see a reaction where you're going to see market drops. You're going to see things like that. And what I worry about is if it's used as a negotiation tactic, well, what if they call your bluff? How long do you hold on, and how bad do you let it get? And two, if he really thinks that it's one of those things that it's not a negotiation tactic, but he's going to hold to it, how long does it take for that domestic production to come back and be built out and those jobs to return, and for the market to rebound as a result? And can we make it through to that? I don't think people have enough fortitude to go, hey, I see your vision. I'll hold on through 2 years of shit.
Yeah.
I just think people are weaker than that. And so they're going to cry uncle and turn on him if it goes on that long. And so we're living through a very unstable time, and I don't know where it goes, but you can already feel the friction in society, and even people that are supporters of him, when it hits their personal lives, and when they start to struggle and they're having a hard time putting food on their table, if you can't feed your family and your kids, you're going to turn on anyone. Like, that's just the reality of it. So you will no longer be this MAGA Trump supporter if you can't feed your family.
Right.
And that's where I worry, is like, this tariff game, where does it go?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of, we're going to break off into since you just said family, you want to talk about your new family, so to speak, here?
It's hard to talk about much because I'm in the middle of a relocation case. So as a lawyer, until that's over, but I'll come back on for round 3.
Okay.
We can talk about it once.
Yeah, because I'm excited for you.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited, very happy, but it's just one of those that in the middle of active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm couldn't be like ecstatic for you.
Oh, and thank you.
I don't think I've seen.
You're
a happy guy.
Extremely.
But you've seen the happiest by far.
I'm balanced. I'm rebased. I figured out, I think when all you're trying to do is build in business, I'm very fortunate, and I always try to make sure that I point that out. But I had a realization of like, I'm going to die. We're all going to die. And on my deathbed, am I going to be really satisfied with my life if what I'm looking at is, oh, So I built this big law firm. I got these buildings. I got a bunch of money that I'm sitting on. I've had the cars, like all that stuff. Is that really going to be a satisfying look back on my life? And I realized, and kind of a depressing realization of, no, like none of that shit's going to mean anything at
Right.
that moment in time. Like if I'm alone, if I'm by myself, like I fucked up. I fucked up what I'm here for. Like that's not what I'm supposed to be here for.
Right.
And I realized like I want to have a family. I want to be a dad. Like that's what I really want. And I can't keep going down this. I couldn't keep going down the same road that I was going down and get there. Like I had to work on my balance. I had to work on really building the life that I want. And if I kept going down that same road, I was never going to get there. So I have tried to make some pretty big changes and some balance changes, and I am much happier than I was, but I'm also just happy that I'm moving in a direction where I don't see myself ending up where I saw myself.
Right.
And that makes me very happy.
And what are some of the changes that you made, like with your, would you say your work ethic, your work time, as you say, is that the place that you made some changes?
Yeah, I think that I'm a very type A person. I had no problem working 7 days a week. I had no problem being the first in, the last out. And I realized that that's great. And maybe you need that at a point in time to build a business, but it's not sustainable. So maybe I make less money, but I'm going to hire more people because I'm going to delegate more of it. I'm going to focus on the things that I can do to contribute the most value to the business. And I'm going to make sure that things are always done the right way, but I'm not going to kill myself over it. And I'm not going to, make sacrifices on my personal life because it'll make me more profit.
Right.
So I've just kind of made that dynamic switch. I also won't take on side projects that take my time. I will take on side projects that I can invest into, that I can put an operating team in place, that the operating team can run the project, but I'm not taking on side projects that I have to give of my time and 10 hours a week or whatever it is. And I was taking on those all the time.
All the time.
And it was fun, and I'm glad I did it. It was a great experience, but I just don't have that bandwidth anymore, so I won't do it. I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to get back to Boise whenever I can. I want to be able to do all those things, and I couldn't do them with filling my plate up the way that I was filling it. So it's taking sacrifice from what I wanted to build on a entrepreneurial level, and instead of focusing on that, trying to build on a family level.
I love that.